What is the distance here? You take the compass, you measure the distance from B1 dash of A1 dash to C1 dash of D1 dash. Place at B1 dash of A1 dash. So from where you have taken, you place at the same point and you cut the arc to obtain which corner? C1 dash of D1 dash. So with the same distance will be the same. Place at this corner and you cut the arc. So to obtain which corner? So this point I call it as C1 dash of D1 dash, and this point I call it as C dash of D dash. So after obtaining all the four extreme or boundary corners, I'll join them with the help of dark lines. First you always obtain the extreme corners. So this is about the front view. So you join all the four edges with the help of dark lines. So here the square prism is tilted to HP at an angle of, I'll take this, 45 degrees. Prism is tilted to HP at an angle of 45 degrees here. So this is how we will get the front view. So any extra lines are there, you erase the extra lines. So next what we need to do is, these 2 points are missing, that is the axis points. So you take the dimensions from B1 dash of A1 dash to O1 dash. So you place at B1 dash of A1 dash and you cut the arc to obtain O1 dash. So similarly here, take the projection distance and cut the arc. So what points I'll get here? This is O dash. So this point I call it as O1 dash. So this two corners has to be joined with the help of the axis. So nothing has to change from first position to second position front view. As it is, we have redrawn the figure. So if I observe this, the shape and size has to be same with from first position to the second position. So I need to show the angle here. So what is given in the question? Axis is inclined to HP at an angle of 45 degrees. So what I need to do is, I need to extend this axis. So extend the axis in order to represent the angle. Extend the axis outside. So this angle should be written as 45 degrees. Okay, so don't represent the angle here. So axis makes an angle of 45 degrees. So show the angle with respect to the axis itself. So this is about your front view. Okay, so let us go to the next step, that is top view. So what happens in its top view? Let us see. First what we need to do is, the procedure I will tell you clearly. First I will go with the horizontal projections. So I need to take the projections from the first position top view and second position front view in order to obtain the second position top view figure. So if I take vertical projections, so how many lines do I get? So I'll get totally base 3 corners and top face 3 corners, totally 6 lines I'll get. If I extend the horizontal projection lines, I'll get only 2 lines. So whichever is less among those, so you go with that first. So I'll take the horizontal projections. Take the horizontal projection from each and every corner like this. Okay, now I'll go with the vertical projections. So B dash of A dash, so that should come till here. So I'll consider the projections from the axis point at last. Don't take them right now. So take the projections from each and every corner like this. Okay, so any extra projections are there, you erase them. Don't take the extra projections. So now I'll go with the namings. Okay, so A1 is here. You should look for A1 dash, not A dash. Okay, observe this carefully. I am taking the namings from A1 to A1 dash, where these 2 points will intersect. So that point you call it as A1, that is top view. First you need to take the projections. So horizontally as well as vertically. After taking the projections, you do the namings accordingly. So this point will be A1. So next I'll take B1 point is here, and I'll look for B1 dash. B1 dash is here. Where these two corners will intersect, lines will intersect, that point will be B1. So next is C1. C1 is here, so C1 will travel along this, and C1 dash is here, this point. So these two lines will join at this point. I call this point as C1. Finally D1. D1 we will get it here. This point is D1. Coming to this A. So A will travel along this line, and A dash is here. So we should see A and A dash, A1 and A1 dash. Okay. So I'll get point A dash. Sorry, A here. So similarly B we can do directly because all the namings we have taken it in cyclic order. C, and this point will be D. So after obtaining all the namings, so we should go for the boundary lines. So boundary lines means, so all the outermost lines or the border lines, so those lines has to be drawn with dark lines. So I'll tell you what is the procedure and how do we identify the line is a boundary line. Okay, so when you take the scale, you place the scale between any two corners. So I'm placing the scale between C1 and D1. If I place the scale between C1 and D1, and you see the remaining corners of the figure, so all the remaining corners are coming on the same side of the scale. So hence I say this line is my boundary line. So this is my boundary line. Okay, so next if I place the scale between B1 and C1 like this, so you can observe here, so all the remaining corners, if I place the scale between D1 and A1, I am getting all the remaining corners on the same side, so on or on the same side of the scale. So I call this line as my boundary line like this. So that should be drawn as dark lines. So similarly here I'll take, so next is C1 to B1. So C1 to B1, this is my boundary line. So I'll show one line which is not a boundary line. So I'll place the scale between C1 and A1. Okay, you can observe here, so some corners are inside the scale and one corner is outside the scale. So hence I say this is not my boundary line. So that is how we have to identify the boundary lines. So next is B1. So from point B1 we will be having the line to B. So this line is also a boundary line. So you draw this border line as thick continuous line like this. Okay, I'll place the scale between A and B. Again I'll get all the corners on the same side of the scale, and you draw that line as dark line. So next from after A, we'll be having the line to both AD and AA1. I'll take the extreme line, that is AA1. So if I place the scale from A to A1, I'm getting all the corners on the same side of the scale. So hence I consider this point as, this line as my boundary line. So you may get the doubt that, so from where to where I need to join the lines. So if I consider one corner, so I have told you that from each corner you will be having 3 lines. So which are those 3 lines which are starting from that particular corner? So I will give the figure for that. So if this is a square prism, I will be having 4 corners at the base and 4 corners at the top face. So I have taken the namings in the cyclic order. So I will give the namings as like this. So A, B, C and D. Okay. So there must be a connection between A to B, so B to C, C to D and D to A. So next is similarly 2 bonds are there here. The third bond should be there from A to A1. Similarly here B to B1, C to C1, and here I should have D to D1. So I should have the connection again between A1 to B1, B1 to C1, C1 to D1 and D1 to A1. And we must have the connection between D1 to D1, C1 to C1 and B1 to B1 is there, A1 to A1 is there. I can show this with the help of this object, that is figure. If I consider the point A, you can observe here, I have told you that from each corner we must have 3 edges. If I consider point A, so if I consider this point A, I must have 3 lines. So one is A to B, A to D and A to A1. So let us see that. So this point is A. We are having the edge from A to B, A to D, and A to A1. So those are the three edges. From each corner we must have three lines. Okay. So in such a way we have to consider the lines in order to obtain the boundary lines. So how to check the boundary lines is place the corners scale between any two corners and see whether you are getting all the corners on the same side of the scale. If we are getting all the corners on the same side of the scale, we call such kind of line as a boundary line or border lines. Always remember, boundary lines has to be drawn with dark lines. You should not change them to a dotted lines. It will never become a dotted line. All the boundary lines has to be drawn with dark lines. Okay. So once after completion of the drawing all the boundary lines, you can observe all the boundary edges will form a closed loop. Okay. So as we are having the borders to our country, in the same way all these, so all the borders should be closed. So in the same way all these boundary lines will be closed and it forms a closed loop for us. Okay. So this is how we have to remember the namings. This is only for square prism. So this is for square prism. Okay, if it is a pentagon, you add one more corner here, A, B, C, D and E. If it is a hexagon, you will take the namings from A to F because we will be having the 6 corners. Okay, so this is how we have to complete the first step in the second position top view, drawing all the boundary lines as thick continuous lines. So after drawing the boundary lines, so what we need to do next is, so we have to identify the hidden corners. Okay, so let us see how to identify the hidden corners. So in order to identify the hidden corners, what we need to do is, we have to see the figure which is here in the second position front view. In this figure, so which is the corner nearer to the XY line, that we have to see. Because if I see the object from the top, okay, if I see this object from the top, the corner which are nearer to the XY line or away from the observer are not visible to you. Okay, so which are the corners that are nearer to the XY line? So B1 and A1. So you place them inside the brackets because those two corners will become hidden corners. So these are hidden corners in the second position top view. So now I'll show that with the help of this object. Okay, so I have taken the object like this, A1 and B1. So this is the hidden edge, so resting edge. I have tilted the object. Once after tilting the object, what happened is, so in the first position only these 4 edges were visible to you. Once after making an angle of 45 degrees to HP, the base edge, that is D1 and C1, so it is visible when you see this object from the top. So the only edge that is not visible is, so this A1 and B1. So those two corners are not visible when you see the object from the top. So hence I have taken these two corners as hidden corners. Okay, so always remember, so we must have the dotted lines only from these hidden corners, so not with respect to the remaining corners. So now I'll come to this hidden corner A1. So from point A1, how many edges we must have? We must have the 3 edges. So I'll consider this A1 here. With the help of this figure we can do it. So if I consider point A1, so which are those 3 edges? A1 to B1, A1 to D1 and A1 to A. Okay, so these 3 edges will be there from point A1, that is corner A1. Among these 3 edges, already A1 and D1, so that is a boundary line, okay, which has drawn with thick continuous line, and A1 to A is also a boundary line, so that is also drawn with the help of thick continuous line because it is my boundary line. The only edge that is missing is A1 to B1. Okay, so if I draw the dotted line on top of this continuous line, so it also looks like a continuous line itself. It looks like a continuous line itself. Okay, no need to draw a dotted line on top of that. So if the edges are boundary edges, you don't touch them. So if the edges are remaining still, means you draw that edge as the hidden line, that is thick dotted lines. So these lines should be dotted. So that is A1, B1. So what I have done here, so I have considered the hidden corner A1. So from hidden corner A1, we must have 3 edges. So which are those 3 edges? A1 to B1, A1 to D1 and A1 to A. So among these 3 edges, So already A1 D1 is the boundary edge and A1 is also a boundary edge. The missing edge was A1 B1. So I have drawn this missing edge as dotted line. So this line has to be a dotted line. Now I will consider point B1. Again, if I consider point B1 here, okay, again with respect to point B1 we must have three edges. Which are those three edges with respect to point B1? So B1 to B. So B1 to B is boundary line. So already that is drawn with thick continuous line. Don't touch that. So next is B1 to C1. So B1 to C1 is also a boundary line. So don't touch that line. Okay. And what is the remaining line? That is B1 to A1. So just now I have drawn it as a dotted line. Okay. So I have checked all the three edges which are starting from B1. So these two are boundary edges and third edge I have driven it as dotted line. So that completes of checking that hidden corners. Okay. So now, so this is how we will identify the hidden corner. The corner nearer to the XY line, that is B1 and A1, you place them inside the brackets. So if any lines, so from each corner we must have three edges. So you see that, so whether the edge, if any edge are missing means you draw them as dotted lines. So if the edges are coming on the boundary means don't touch them. So that is how we will check the hidden corners. So next what I'll do is, after identifying the hidden corners and marking the hidden edges, so I'll go with the remaining corners. So I need to check each and every corner for three lines. So if I see this object A, I must have three lines. We need to check each and every corner. So A means, so we must have lines from A to B, line is there. So A to D, line is there, and A to A1, already line is there. Okay. Similarly, if I see the point C, so which are those three lines starting from C? C to B, C to C1, and C to D. We don't have any line here from C to D. So what type of line I need to draw here? I need to draw thick continuous line. Okay, many of you will take it as a dotted line. No, it is wrong, because always remember the hidden lines or the dotted lines will always start from the hidden corner, not from the another corners. So this CD, it is missing here. So hence you draw it as thick continuous line. This CD has to be drawn with dark line. Okay. So similarly you check all the remaining corners. So if I check that all the remaining corners, we are having three edges. So the condition will get satisfied. So once after doing this much, so now I'll go with the axis point. So I'll take the projections from O1 dash. So I'll take the horizontal projection first because I'll get only one line. Take the projection. Similarly you take the projection from O dash. Next I'll take the projection from O1 dash. Okay. So whatever the line that we'll get here, axis line, so that must always be drawn as chain line. From second position top view onwards, the line will remain as axis. So this should be drawn as thin chain line. Draw a line here. This line should be thin chain line. There is difference between chain line and the dashes thick. So this point is O1 and this is O. This completes the second position top view. So now I need to take the third position. So inclination with respect to VP. So I should go with respect to the third position condition. What is the condition here? The condition we need to take it with respect to VP. So what is the condition with respect to VP? He has given the angle of inclination as 30 degrees. But we need to see what is inclined to VP at an angle of 30 degrees. It is resting on HP on one of its edges of the base, which is inclined to VP at 30 degrees. Which is inclined means what is that? The edge of the base is inclined to VP at an angle of 30 degrees. That is what I have written. The side on which it rests or the edge on which it is resting is inclined to VP at 30 degrees. Okay. So when we are doing the third position, we need to check for the beta angle. So here the side is inclined. Okay. Since the side length of the base, so it remains same. It does not changes from first position to the second position. So if the length does not change, then the given problem is not a beta angle problem. Okay. You can observe here in this figure. So from the first position, the resting edge is A1 B1. So here the length is 35. If I see the length of the resting edge, that is A1 B1 in the second position, here also it is 35. From first position to second position, there is no variation of length. Okay. So hence it is not a beta angle problem. What we need to do is directly we have to redraw the figure such that this A1 B1 should go and lie on that 30-degree line. So I'll show it with the help of this object. In the second position we have reached till here. So if I go to the third position, what I need to do, so this A1 B1 you can observe, A1 B1 is perpendicular with respect to VP. So that perpendicular line, what we need to do, so it is inclined HP at 45 degrees. I need to tilt this figure slowly such that A1 B1 should make an angle of 30 degrees with respect to VP. Earlier it was vertical. So now here I should make an inclination of 30 degrees with respect to VP. So this is the position of the object what we will be having. So in this position I need to draw the top view as well as front view. So if you consider the top view, so whatever the shadow that I am having here, so this is the shadow that I'll get. The same shadow we have to redraw it again, inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. So what I mean to say is we have to redraw this figure as it is. So inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. What has to incline? The resting edge has to incline at an angle of 30 degrees with respect to VP. So you must be very careful when you do the third position, because we are solving the problem in A4 size paper. So better when you choose the starting point, we have to see that we have to adjust the sheet such that so this redrawn figure should not touch your XY line and it should not go out of this sheet. So in such a way we have to take. So first what I'll do is I'll take one parallel line with respect to the XY line. With respect to the XY line, I'll take one parallel line like this. So on this parallel line, I'll take one suitable point. I'll draw one line parallel to the XY line. With respect to this point, I'll mark 30 degrees. So the redrawn figure can touch this parallel line what you have taken, but it should not touch to the XY line. So now here you draw the 30-degree line like this, in this manner. So the angle of inclination, if I extend this, so this will make an angle of 30 degrees with respect to VP. Okay, so now on this 30-degree line, what we need to place? We need to place the resting side, that is A1 B1. So we are having A1 B1 here. So we need to consider this distance and we need to redraw the figure. So whenever you rotate the figure, so you rotate the figure less than 90 degrees. So here if I take the line from left side to right side, so we can rotate the figure less than 90 degrees. If I take from right side to left side, we need to rotate the figure more than 90 degrees. Okay, so don't do it like that. So whenever, you just remember like this. So whenever side is inclined, you draw a line from left side to right side. Whenever the axis is inclined, you draw a line, inclined line from right side to left side. Okay, since the side is inclined here, I have driven the line from left side to right side. So that is 30 degrees. So now with the help of the compass, I'll reconstruct this figure. First and foremost thing is, I need this resting side, that is A1 B1, that should be placed on the 30-degree line. You choose the points very carefully here. Okay, so see to that. So we must have this much of distance, that is the distance from B1 to B. We must have the space above and we must have the space from B1 to C1 below this point. Okay, in such a way we have to choose the points. So this point, so I have got two corners, so that is A1 inside the bracket and here B1 inside the bracket. So what type of line we are having here from A1 to B1? So this line should be a dotted line. Redraw means as it is, nothing has to change here. So if we are having continuous line, you draw it as continuous line. If you are having a dotted line, you draw it as the dotted line itself. Okay, so I have got two corners of this figure. I need to obtain the remaining 6 corners. So if I observe this figure, so this D1, D and A are there on same single line. So all these 3 corners are passing with respect to point A1 itself. So what I'll do now, if I draw a perpendicular line, so with respect to this A1 B1, I'll get these 3 corners, that is D1, D as well as A. Okay, so similarly I am having C1, C and B are there on same single line. again that line is passing through this point B1 and that line is perpendicular to this A1 B1. So hence what I need to do is I need to draw two 90 degree lines. One is with respect to point A1 and the other one is with respect to point B1. So place your protractor at point A1 first and you mark 90 degrees. Okay. Similarly, place your protractor at point B1 and you mark 90 degrees. Okay. With respect to these 2 points, you extend the line on either sides. So again, with respect to point B1, you draw a 90 degree line with respect to that 90 degree point and this B1. You extend the line on either sides like this. So this is how we need to take the 90 degree lines, perpendicular lines. Now you take the dimensions from A1 to D. You mark all the corners. So take the distance from A1 to D. Place at A1 and you cut the arc. So I will be having the same distance from B1 to C as well. So hence I will place with the same dimension, I will place at B1 and I will cut the arc to obtain which point? C1, C. Similarly, I take the distance from B1 to B. Take the dimensions correctly. So place at B1 and you cut the arc. With the same length you place at A1 also and you cut one more arc. So this is about the top corners. So I will go with the bottom corners now. So that is A1 to D1. A1 to D1. So I will get D1 here. With the same dimension, I will cut one more arc with respect to point B1. So this is how I have got the another 6 corners. So you join all of them with the help of dark lines. So if you are having continuous line, you take it as continuous line. If you are having the hidden lines, you draw them as hidden lines. So these lines has to be dark lines here. So those who are doing in the grid sheets, you must be very careful while doing this third position, because sometimes this figure will go out of the sheet or it touches the XY line. You must be very careful while doing this. When you choose the starting points, you choose them very carefully. Okay, so this is how we need to obtain the corners. So erase all the lines, extra lines. Don't keep any extra lines here. So now I'll do the namings quickly. So this point is D. So this is A. So this is B. This point is C. This will be C1, C1, and this will be D1. So now I have completed everything except this O and O1 point. So if you observe this O and O1, so which is touching this A1, B1 at some point, so that intersection point I call it as 1. So I'll obtain this point 1 which is lying in between A1 and B1, that will be your midpoint, because that is the axis line which passes exactly the center. So with respect to this point 1, I need to construct one more 90 degree line. So I can take it like this. So with the help of the set square, it will be easy for us. Which are helpful to draw 90 degree lines. So with respect to this point 1, so those who don't have set square, you can make use of the protractor and you draw a line like this, and you can extend this line on either sides. Okay, now you take the distance from 1 to O. So place at 1 and you cut the arc. Take the distance from 1 to O1, place at 1 and you cut the another arc. So this is how we need to obtain O as well as O1. So these lines has to be a chain line. O2, O1, thin chain line. So this line has to be chain line, and that line should be a thin line. So you redraw as it is. So this completes the third position top view. So I need to obtain the last step, that is my front view. So I need to take the projections in order to obtain the front view. So what I'll do is, so if I take the vertical projections here, so totally I'll get 8 lines. So I'll go with the horizontal projections. So where I'll get only 3 lines at the beginning. I'll not consider the axis points at the beginning itself. I'll take the projections from C dash of D dash. Next I'll go with the projections from B dash of A dash. Next I'll take the projections from this C1 dash of D1 dash, and I'll extend it little further. Like this. Okay. And the other line is this B1 dash of A1 dash, that is your XY line itself. So now I'll go with the vertical projections. I'll extend the vertical projections to the required position. I'll not extend simply. So I'll take the projections starting from A. So I should see for A dash, not A1 dash. So A to A dash. So I'll take the vertical projections first from point A to A dash. I'll extend this line until it touches this A dash. Next I'll go to B. So similarly B to B dash. So B dash is above. So extend the projection line from B to B dash. Next I'll come to C. So this point is C. Where is C dash here? This is C point, and C dash is here, topmost line. So you extend the projection line to that. Okay, next you come to D slowly. So D is here, and D dash is again the topmost line. So you extend the line to that. So now that completes your top face figures. I'll go with the base now. So A1. So A1 to A1 dash. You extend the projection lines from A1 to A1 dash. Next is B1. Where is B1? So B1 is there on the XY line itself. So extend the projection line until it touches that. So next is C1. So C1 is here. C1 is this point, and C1 dash is here. So where these two lines will intersect, you extend the line to that particular position. Next comes to D1. D1 is here and D1 dash is here. So I need to extend the line to that particular position. So once after taking the projections, you do the namings accordingly. So I'll start with